You are on in 3, 2, 1, go.
Ready to pour.
One of my favorite things ever is hot coffee with whipped cream on top. No sugar added. It's just heavy whipping cream that my daughter whipped in our KitchenAid. It's amazing.
I thought you were gonna say me.
You need shoes.
Good morning. We had a little victory last night that we're gonna share with you right now. Because we can.
Because you're watching.
We have a vlog. You're a captive audience. You are so bound by the need to be entertained that you will watch whatever we say.
Joking.
Joking, maybe. Last night, I come into the room for bed at like what, 11:30, midnight?
It was late. It was way too
Man,
late.
we got caught up in the YouTube world. Fascinating stuff out there, you guys.
More fascinating than us.
Wow, there's better stuff out there, for sure. Oh, this coffee's cold already. It's that time of year.
You need to have like an insulating top with the whipped cream.
I walked into the room, and Cammie was in a frenzy. And I'm not gonna like really get into it because that's not really the point. I sensed like she was like on this mission, and there was a lot of fear involved. And she was just like, She wasn't being like big or anything, but it was just like she was so fixated on this thing, you know, worrying about this thing. I laid down next to her, and I kind of said, hey, maybe this thing's like...
You laid down. I was not laying down.
Oh yeah, she was like still working on this thing that she's freaking out about. And I was like, maybe this thing's like not that big of a deal, and we can like work on it later, or just go to sleep right now, hint hint. And she was like not getting the clue, you know, she's like, gotta do the thing.
Can we connect for a few minutes and just talk and cuddle and
go to freaking bed.
go to sleep? No, we can't. No.
So finally she's done, probably 3 minutes later, 5 minutes later, I don't know, whatever it was. And then she lays down next to me, and at this time I was like, I just wasn't like super excited about cuddling, or like, you know, usually we lay down and we hold each other.
Before that, part of why I settled down was just out of necessity for me, because I realized Ben was getting perturbed and discouraged, and I thought, oh, he's gonna shut down on me, and I hate that.
We lay down, and she's like, are you gonna cuddle with me? And I'm like, I don't really feel like it.
Why not?
And then this is how I know. She started touching me in places that I like, but she normally doesn't touch me there, like, you know.
It's not my strong suit.
But I felt like it was just to like...
Make myself feel better, because...
to get me to like her again.
Yeah.
I told her I love you right now. I just don't feel, and this is what I said, I feel like you're being like super selfish and self-absorbed, which is not like a turn on to me. Not that her job is to turn me on, but now I'm expected to go from you being like super kind of crazy land to now being like, oh, that's a rough transition.
It's okay. Cuddle, cuddle, cuddle.
So in the past, this is what would have happened. I would have turned around on my side of the bed and gone to sleep, tried to go to sleep, but I would have tossed and turned for a while. And she would have like begged for a little bit longer, and she would have been pissed. I would have been upset. We would have gone to bed.
Maybe we would have cried, maybe not.
I wouldn't have cried.
Maybe we would have left the room.
And then we would have been pissed in the morning right now, and then we'd be talking about a fight. But instead, what happened was I said, I love you. I just don't feel like being close physically right now because I felt like you were really self-absorbed, and I can't just make this transition.
And I was able to actually hear him. In the past, I haven't been able to hear Ben because I've been so fixated on, I just want you to be okay with me. I just want you to like me.
We started talking, and I said, well, she said, I have this memory from this childhood about this thing I was worrying about. Can we just say it was a bug? Like, we can say that. We don't have to get into it.
Not just any bug. Mosquito.
And she told me this story from her childhood about this thing, and like it sounded kind of OCD to me, and I told her that. And I don't say that in a derogatory way. In fact, I take those types of things very seriously. I think it's a different form of bondage in a way. That's just like compulsive. I mean, that's what bondage is, compulsion.
Yep.
And it actually was good. We talked through it, and I felt like she was asking for, she didn't ask for help, but I felt like by sharing, she was letting me in, and in a way asking for help. And then I was like able to have a sense of compassion and say like, oh wow, this has a story behind it, and you're bringing me into it, and I care about you as my wife.
I was being vulnerable. I was letting my guard down.
And then I wanted to hold her. I wanted emotional vulnerability and closeness before physical. It was like basically all good, like we worked through that. But I don't think in the past I would have been able to share those feelings. In fact, I would have just preferred to be touched or have sex or whatever it would be, and just like sweep the issue under the rug, like, hey, at least I'm getting sex, or at least I'm getting touched. But
or
even if it was from an unhealthy place from her.
As you were getting healthier with that, you didn't want the sex or the touching as much, but you still couldn't you still were unable to share your feelings.
Oh, I didn't even know I had feelings in that area. But I felt like, these fears that drive us, and I don't think she was worse than me. In fact, I say, I know when I'm being completely selfish and being driven to certain things, I'm not a good partner. And I don't expect her to be all like cozy with me. You know, in fact, I said, how would you feel if you walk in on me looking at porn, off, and then I'm like, hey, come on, like, let's be cuddly. Like, it doesn't, and there's like something that needs to happen in between.
I know
there.
what you're thinking. Well, that's not the same thing. When I heard that, my first reaction was, But again, I was able to hear Ben and say, this is how he's feeling. I can't discount his feelings. I know porn and sex are very charged topics, but at the root of these things, guys, is the same.
Well, and we grew up in a legalistic system that categorized like certain sins, and like playing cards were worse than dancing, and which was worse than sex, which was worse than gay
and society
sex, which is worse than porn,
too.
Which is worse than cleaning a counter. But
yeah,
that, you know, really, we don't think God sees it that way. He's not like, oh my gosh, you looked at that magazine? Well, you should have looked at Playboy and not Pen. I mean, it's like, it's not, there's not one worse. What's shocking to us is not shocking to God. And selfishness is painful. It hurts ourselves and it hurts those around us. And I'm not God, I don't know, but that was what I was feeling in my heart. That Cammie was, phone call. Jeez,
and a lot of times your spouse,
hello, this is Ben,
knows things about you that you don't even know about yourself. And it's so important to have ears to hear those things. And for so many years, I didn't have ears.
We're getting some electrical done. This was a big victory for us, you guys.
Yeah.
We went to bed kind of harmonious, but I feel like we didn't just sweep things under the rug.
Our defaults would have been for me to want to talk to Ben. I want to talk through this. But really what I was saying is, can we sweep this under the rug? Can we move on and not actually deal with this issue? Because I just want you to be okay with me right now.
Or we would have had makeup sex, which would have been awesome. but it would have just been fun.
It would be another way to sweep it under the rug.
The problem would still be there tomorrow. We wouldn't be any closer to solving the problem. And as we found healing, it's kind of weird. The makeup sex has not been as awesome because it's not as charged, which I think is actually... We're not turning to sex for something that sex was never intended to do.
We're like more sober about it. And I mean that's a good thing.
Don't get me wrong. I am fine with awesome sex. But it was fake. Like it was... we were using it to gain each other's approval instead of to really serve and love each other.
The victory for him was he was able to share his feelings and his desires and truth about what he saw was going on with me. And he hasn't always... He wasn't able to do that. Thank you, mosquitoes. Raven Stark had asked Wahoo to stay and eat with the crew, but he said no thanks. All right, we are giving out our Shabbat cleanup duties. Dove, eyes up here, please. Dove, you are gonna do the... Let me see. Oh, is that the shaker?
It's for powdered sugar.
The sifter. Oh wow, that's the funnel.
Yeah. This is for making funnel cakes for the fall feast because I'm going to be doing that for like an hour and a half.
Cool.
I do not know what happened to this day. We have some supplies ready for the fall feast, which is tomorrow. The corn that we're gonna use, got 150 of those. Our cider is out here, and it's not supposed to rain, which is really nice.
It's so cold outside.
Okay, let's do it inside.
It went from 80 to 55, like overnight.
2 rad stories that I want to share going into this weekend. We opened up this Patreon thing a couple weeks ago, and then I put some other links to some financial ways people could donate, but I never checked them. And this week I opened up one of them, and someone donated $100. This is what they wrote. I'll always be a big fan of yours, Ben. Best to you and the family. You set an incredible example that I hope I can at least partially emulate someday. And this was a guy, going back to my big business days, this was a guy that worked at a San Francisco startup company that was a funny financial story for me. It was one of the days I got paid the most money in my life. And now he sent us $100 for our vlog. And that was like, just really cool to see those two worlds kind of come together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was really a blessing for us. The second thing is, I'm going to be going out of town next week, but I didn't know where. And maybe you guys remember the vlog when we were in Seattle and we were looking for places to stay and someone offered us crazy furnished, wonderful, nice farmhouse. I contacted those people and said, hey, I know this is last minute, but we're looking for a place to write next week. Is your farmhouse open? And they said, totally, please come. We'll have dinner with you. So we're going there. So people totally hooked us up with a free place to go just to get away to do a bunch of writing.
It looked nice too.
This is a weird time for us because it's our last kind of couple days together. And then we are preparing for this big party tomorrow. And the reason why we celebrate these big events is not just to spend money or have fun or show off, but because we believe the best picture of God's love and what the kingdom of God looks like, his realm, is a giant party where people are experiencing life to the fullest. And we are trying to practice living and creating these types of environments. So we dedicated a while back to have 3 parties a year to try and learn this. So I'm excited. It's a discipline that is fun and hard. Hello there. Hello there. Ooh, another picture I'll share. We just posted. You want to say hi? Hello. We just posted the video of us saying that we're taking a break from comments, and I saw that it had 15 comments in response to it, and I was like, oh, I should read those. But I decided, you know what?
That would be.
No, I actually thought in my mind, I'm not going to take a hit.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm not doing it because we decided not to. But I could see it for what you know what. And I'm not saying the comments were bad. I'm sure they're great. But for me, I was able to just kind of operate in that new way of thinking. We are going to rest because through. He keeps grabbing the camera.
Yep,
through all of our craziness, we are thankful that we have a holiday that we believe was instituted by God. It's actually one of the 10 Commandments, weird enough, that tells you to not freaking work. And you'd think that'd be an easy thing. It's actually the hardest thing we found. And just because it's frequent does not mean it's not important. In fact, we teach that it's the most important. That's why we do it 52 times a year. Whoa, 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 whoa. Another week. Thanks, guys. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Hey guys, if you are new here, welcome to our vlog. We post 5 days a week. We're really thankful that you're here. Unfortunately, we don't have a super easy way for you to learn everything about us in like one place, because that's the whole reason why we do a vlog. It's like we're complicated, you're complicated, it's going to take a while. But in our YouTube description below, we do have like names and ages of our kids and a few videos that are some of our favorites, so we hope you check that out, and we're glad you're here.